Hello potters, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to throw a slab or roll a slab out. The ultimate goal is you're going to have to create a relief sculpture for yourself, okay? The three examples in front of you here are some of the things I've done in the past. As you can see from this one here, it's not as detailed, not as deep as far as the adding or subtracting of the clay, okay? We pretty much transferred an image and carved away some simple lines and filled it in and colored it in with some oil pastels. Another method that you might want to think about is actually cutting the actual shape of your sculpture out by the time you're done, okay? Here's a fish that I did a couple years ago as an example. And here is one of the 20 tiles that my Ceramics 1 did many years ago, okay? One of Hokusai's Great Wave off of Kanagawa. So here's a tile. Ultimately, this is a relief sculpture as well. I'll rotate it around. As you can see, the details in this one here is pretty intricate. Okay? So here I'm gonna show you guys how to roll your slab out or throw your slab out. Hopefully by now you know that before you start making anything with clay, you need to wedge it, okay? What you want to do when you're rolling a slab out is you want to kind of take that block of clay and turn it into a cube, especially considering that we're going to be working in a rectangular or a square layout. Slab sticks. I have my slab sticks. The slab sticks just helps me control how thick I want my slab to be. My rolling pin, as you can see when I initially start, I'm actually holding the actual pin itself, okay, not the handle. You'll also notice that after a few rolls, I'll flip my clay over. This prevents my clay from getting stuck to my wedging board. I like to rotate my slab as well. That way I maintain more of a square shape. Because the size requirement is going to be roughly 8 by 8, I want to make sure I'm using the right amount of clay, okay, and maintaining that same square shape. Now, do you have to make a square? No, you can kind of change it slightly, but the overall size should be about 8 by 8. So for instance, if you go, 8 by 12, that'll be fine. Or 6 by 8, 6 by 10, that's fine as well. As you notice, when I'm cutting my slab out, I'm actually dragging my needle tool, okay? It's a cleaner cut versus pushing against it. When you push against it, the needle actually gets caught on the wedging board and you create those rough spots. Try to control your clay. You guys don't have the equipment to recycle the clay, so if you can spray it down a little so it stays moist, so we can go back and use it later, that'd be great. Make sure to wrap all the clay that you're not using, okay? I also spray a little water on my slab because you'll know by now that the more you work with clay, it's going to dry up. Your hands are going to naturally absorb the moisture, so a little water here and there will help it. Here's how not to roll your slab out. Don't just lay or push all your weight down on it. You're going to create this deep valley, which makes it very hard to kind of maintain that consistent thickness. No. Another thing that I see my students do once in a while when they're rolling their slab out, they like to sit around. You really don't get a lot of leverage. You really need your shoulders and your arms to really kind of maintain that shape and that thickness. Also, make sure you're flipping your slab, turning it as well. That way you don't end up with a really long, narrow slab like this one. Just a reminder, turn it. Now, if you don't have your slab rollers, if you don't have your slab sticks or you don't have the rolling pin, you can actually throw your slab out, okay? Once again, I'm going to start out with a block, a cube or a rectangular form. When you're throwing your slab out, come at about 45 degrees, okay? Don't just throw your block of clay up and down. Come at 45. Don't whip it across the surface. It'll bounce off and into your kitchen, to your friends and your family, okay? So come at an angle. Once again, you want to be coming and throwing at a 45 degree. What's going to happen is the clay is going to get forced or pushed into the other opposite side. If you push or you throw your clay directly from above, the outside edge is going to get really thin, but the center is going to get really thick, and we really don't want that. Now, how thick should your slab be? I teach my students that, at most, keep it at ½ an inch. But ultimately, it really depends on how you're going to be making your relief sculpture. If you're going to be building onto the relief, then you can go a little thinner and then kind of build up. But if you're going to carve away at your slab, you can go a little thicker. So you make the judgment, okay? As an artist, you're going to have to discover and come up with some of these solutions. Here's my second slab. Overall, the thickness is pretty consistent all the way through. Spraying it down a little keeps it moist. Don't overspray it though, because you really don't want the clay to dissolve. Alright, that's all. Thank you for listening and watching. I know it's a long video, so stay tuned to the next one, alright? Good luck.